I only read one book, but it's a good book, don't you know? I act the way I act because the good book tells me so. If I want to know how to be good, it's to the good book that I go. Because the good book is a book, and it is good, and it's a book.
Then Abram went up from Egypt as fast as possible after being expelled by Pharaoh, after Abram tried to get him to pork his half-sister, who was also his wife. He and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, to the south, which sounds like he was heading into the Sudan, but as this is the clear, unobtrusive word of God written in a way that is crystal clear and without confusion, they were actually heading north. Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold, having just milked most of it out of Pharaoh in the last chapter, and he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, for he liked camping there, and it was close to the beach and convenient for the shops. To the place of the altar, which he had made there at first, and there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And the Lord did smell the sweet smell of lamb kebabs barbecuing in the evening, and did come down and join him with a 6-pack of buds. Lot also, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, for they had all done quite well out of Abram's little rumble. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together, for they had shit piles of stuff, and didn't know what to do with it all, and besideth, the place where they were at was still recovering from a famine. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwelt in the land, because after all they did live there, being Canaanites living in the land of Canaan, and it was their land, even though the Lord had apparently chosen to give it to Abram. So Abram said to Lot, Please let there be no strife between you and me, between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. You are my bro, or at least the son of my bro, and we need to sort this shit out before it turns into a turf war, being a war over the turf that our herds do eat. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right, or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left. Just stop fucking following me around. And Lot lifted his eyes and saw the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, which hadn't yet been destroyed, and the Lord had not yet said that he did intend to, which kind of makes you wonder how they knew it would be destroyed, and if they did, why would anyone want to go live there? Like the garden of the Lord, which had been destroyed in the Lord's futile hissy fit a few chapters back, like the land of Egypt, which they had been kicked out of, as you go toward Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, completely missing the bit about the Lord's eventual intention to level Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated from each other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom, choosing to spend the night camped at the equivalent of ground zero at a nuclear test site. But though the future of the city did look bleak, the nightlife and parties were fabulous, darling, and they did have many bars filled with men who did dress like bikers. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord, for they did like to put the hand up another man's anus and eat the poo-poo, and were a perfect example of how pointless and how much of a failure the flood had been at removing sin and wickedness from the world just a few chapters earlier. And the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him and headed off to find out who was singing Gloria Gaynor songs, Lift your eyes now, and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, I give to you and your descendants forever. Just like he had done in the previous chapter, which the Lord must have forgotten about doing. Of course, referring to all of the land that Abram could see from where he was actually standing at that moment in time. However, this minor detail would be overlooked in years to come and would be interpreted by some as, if it's land, and you can see it, then God gave it to Abram, no matter where you are standing. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants also could be numbered. And in years to come, some right evil bastard would take up that challenge and number Abram's descendants, and would then stick them in ovens to both make sure that he didn't count them twice, and also to help God along with making Abram's descendants as dust, and he would use this book to justify doing it. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. And the people who live there, and would continue to live there, would of course have no problem with this, and it wouldn't be used as an excuse to start numerous bloody wars for the next several thousand years. Then Abram moved his tent, and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and built an altar there to the Lord, hoping for the Lord to tell him that he can have all of the land he can see from there also. And the Lord, who did spot the altar, and did know a free meal when he saw one, did come down from heaven, and Abram did say to him, as he passed him a grilled beefsteak, Have you met my wife and my sister? And the Lord did point out unto Abram that there was but one woman standing there, and he did ask what she was like at making sandwiches. And lo, with the addition of a sesame seed bun unto the Lord's flame-grilled beefsteak, and some lettuce, tomato, a slice of gherkin, and some of Abram's great-great-great-great-grandfather's special dressing, along with a dab of ketchup and mustard, the Big Mac was invented.